And we are back
What's
yet
up,
again.
man?
We made it to week 2 in the V.
Yes. Feels good, man.
Yeah, it feels great. No theme song yet, no intro fanciness. We're just going live and ripping it here.
Yeah, this is the MVP. We're gonna iterate.
No editing. We're just we'll figure it out. Anyway, welcome everybody back to another episode of Irresponsibly Long. I am your host, Steven, along with my co-host, Eric Johansson, the venerable Eric Johansson.
What's up, everybody?
We're gonna get you that ring light, or
I know
maybe you're just really, really tan.
I'm so dark in here, and it's like I do actually have a ring light in front of me, and it's just not doing its thing.
Oh, that looked a little brighter.
Manual.
It's all right. I think people here are here for your brain, as nice as your face is. Can you say something to the mic real quick? I just want to make sure we got your vocals going on here.
Yeah, mic check, mic check.
Okay, yeah, it's great. It's great. Let's resume things as normally previously scheduled here. So, yeah, unfortunately, not much happened after our last episodes.
Yeah, right.
My God, I had the most expensive dinner of my life Friday night because I
Because
chose to leave the house like a fucking moron.
that's when Trump coin was launched.
Yeah, Trump coin was launched. I left my computer to go have a life. Lesson learned. Terrible idea.
Yeah, never touch grass. Never do that.
Yeah, there were guys in the group chat printing 7-figure, 8-figure wins. Kind of painful. That's a truly once in a lifetime event, I think.
Have you traded it? Have you gone on to trade Trump coin since it's launched?
I scalped it last night for a nice chunk. It's probably going to end up running up 10x, and I probably exited for like 2%. But yeah, it's going to be a fun coin to trade. Actually, I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's got some good movement. It's got some good liquidity on it. It's got a lot of really low IQ people trading it.
Which is great, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I might become just a professional Trump coin day trader now. I mean, it moves, man. It moves. It's like, what else could you ask for? Yeah, the launch was crazy. I mean, this thing sucked all of the liquidity out of everything. Like everybody just sold everything in their wallet to buy this coin when it came out. And you really saw that in the charts there. Like everything on TradingView is red except Solana and Trump. It was wild. Like everything just nuked. Never
That's
seen
because
anything
Trump
like it.
Trump coin was launched on the Solana blockchain.
Yeah. Yeah, so Solana had quite the rip. The president selecting it for his official crime chain, something that, the market could not ignore. Kind of interesting, I think, what really happens with Solana from this point forward. It was a bit of a weird move. It gave kind of like blow off top vibes this weekend. Just absolutely massive rip up, and then printed kind of like a death candle on the daily over the weekend. Big move today, but in relation to how much this thing pumped and dumped, I don't know. It's a weird spot. It's a weird spot in general right now. There was a lot of discussion, shall we say, in the Alfalfa Discord about how this was going to affect the market. I know our buddy Armand was having a spirited discussion with me, but I don't know if I got your take on this. Like, do you have a take on what this means for anything?
Yeah, I mean, I can go in a couple different directions. One take I have is that I can't tell. I'm like kind of split in my mind of whether or not this seems like this is like toppy type behavior, or if this is like the type of behavior that launches a massive, massive bull cycle. Like we're already in a bull cycle, but is this like just like the fuel to send us to Valhalla? And I feel like a moment like this is like really instructive, but I can't determine which direction. It's like, I think months from now, we'll look back at this moment and be like, oh shit, it was so obvious. You should have just bought there. Or like, it was so obvious, you should have sold there. But like, I can't tell which direction. I'm kind of leaning that it's uber bullish. The president launched his own meme coin. That's insane. It's so insane. Part of me, like the there's like a purist inside me that is like wanting crypto, the technology, to become useful and like meaningful in our lives and like improve the world. And by Trump launching his own coin, it signified to me that it's like, oh, we're going this direction. Like I kind of thought the administration being so pro crypto was going to mean like sort of good things for the industry. And this kind of takes it down a road that I'm not really interested in. Meme coin road.
Yeah. I was like upset when this launched. I had a fairly emotional reaction to it actually. And I counter traded that emotional reaction with a Solana long immediately after. But then, as all the dust has settled, I've tried to take a step back and think about like what the hell I actually do think about this. Are you familiar with like it's like the chaotic good, chaotic evil, like that
Yeah.
that whole spectrum?
That grid, yeah.
The grid, yeah. I think Trump is chaotic neutral, like Trump the man. And I think that Trump the coin is probably the same. It definitely injects volatility into the market. The bullish case is obviously that the president made a meme coin, so number go up, right? There's a kind of more, I guess, high IQ take on it, which is that the president has effectively drawn a line in the sand about the legality of particular kinds of tokens. And he is like the largest kind of draw on planet Earth for anything, right? And like the volumes for this coin were so insane. Like you really just saw like it was wild. It was super wild. Also, side note, like Coinbase, like how just fucking list the coin. Like what are you doing? Why do you hate money?
Wait, so I was under the impression that Coinbase listed the coin. Have they not? Because I saw Robinhood did.
Yeah, wait, let me double check this because like as of the last time I checked, they had not listed the coin.
Dude, what are they doing? You have one job. It's just allow
Hold
people
on,
to
I don't
trade.
wanna 3 hours ago, Trump is now available for trading on Coinbase.
There we go. There we
Hell
go.
yeah.
I think I
Okay.
agree. I agree with your take that Trump is chaotic neutral. I think this coin listing is fine. I don't mind Trump having his own meme coin. I think I'm trying to figure out where the value accrues. Like if more eyeballs come into crypto, like I think more normies and mainstreamers are going to come probably want to get some action on Trump coin, and I'm guessing a lot of these mainstreamers aren't going to be like using a decentralized exchange like on Solana
Yeah.
blockchain. So I think value accrues to Coinbase and Robinhood. So that's sort of where I land on it.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like a pretty good take. Obviously people were mega bullish soul immediately after this happened. And look, I think it's also hard, I think, to be bearish soul on this, but like what are the more direct sort of routes of value accrual and how do you bet on them? I am of the mindset that a lot of the end of this cycle is going to sort of take place on Robinhood, Coinbase, like these apps, right? Because you get this final wave of like retail. Everybody says retail is coming, and obviously we are retail, but there is this like also like end game retail, right?
Totally.
I did have a lot of normies text me who like have nothing to do with crypto. I
Same.
probably had like 3 or 4 who don't even touch crypto, but who are like Trump people, and they were like, "How do I buy this coin?" So
I've had like 2 waves of that. One was like Ripple associated, normies coming in because they want Ripple, and they think that Ripple will be used as like the payment rails between banks. And then the next wave was the Trump coin, and I feel like you're definitely right. Like the first wave of retail is like crypto natives, and you see like when liquidity gets sucked out of all other meme coins and stuff, and it goes to Trump. That's like money sloshing around that's already in crypto, but there's going to be new money coming in.
yeah, and like these people, they're not going to like come in and fire up the Solana blockchain and
No way.
buy Trump. They're just going to buy it on Robinhood or whatever for sure. So I think the coin brings people in for sure. I think it brings them in through the Robinhood kind of Coinbase, like SEX pathway, CEX for those of you unfamiliar with the acronym. But like what really benefits if that's the case? I think like a lot of these normie memes like catch a lot of the flow, right? If everybody comes online to buy Trump, right, and they buy on Robinhood, Coinbase, whatever, they're also just going to buy whatever else is in their Robinhood or Coinbase account, right? So you've got stuff like Old Faithful, like you got like Shib and Floki and
What about Doge? Doge is like the face of the organization
Doge.
now.
Doge will do well. Doge is pumping today. I think Pepe does well. Bonk, Whiff. Like I think all of these things actually probably catch a bid. And the thing I'm most worried about, that's like the biggest gap right now between sort of like consensus narrative versus like what I think will actually play out, is like the AI coins, right? Because I don't know that retail is going to come in and bid these like AI coins. Like it's a bit of an esoteric crypto Twitter kind of narrative. You have to be kind of like a nerd like me to like, what is the overlap between guy coming in to buy Trump and guy who wants to buy like AI XBT or whatever kind of even further downstream AI token? I don't know, man. Like I'm very open to the idea that that bull run can happen. I see the discrepancy between the total market cap of AI versus the total market cap of memes. I'm just not sure like how unwarranted that discrepancy is. Like right now, I think AI is 1/10 the market cap of memes. It kind of makes sense to me. Like, what is the market cap? What is like the mind share amongst all normie participants of like memes like Doge versus AI tokens? Like, it probably is close to 10 to 1. Like, maybe it's 5 to 1. I don't know, but it's not like as big of a gap as like everybody on crypto Twitter is shilling it out to be. So, because I think we're kind of late stage cycle. And when I say cycle, I want to be clear. I don't think like 4 years bear, right? But like I think cycles in the sense that price go up, price go down still exist. We're probably loading the blow off top, and it might be really short and fast and sweet and terrible depending on how you play it. But I think in that last blow off top, like I don't know that AI coins get bid in the same way that Shiba Inu gets bid or something equally dumb that crypto Twitter doesn't really care about, much in the same way we didn't care about Hashgraph and Ripple. Well, I guess I did, but a lot of people didn't care about these Dino coins. But
I think it's a pretty interesting take. So one thing that I'm kind of like parsing out of what you're saying is like maybe these AI coins are just memes as well, and the meme just isn't as mainstream. It's not as good. It's not as big. The meme isn't as big for AI. Because like I don't think that these AI coins are necessarily like utility, right? Like I don't think we're going to be using AI agents necessarily like within crypto and like launching this whole new paradigm, right? These are just basically worse memes than Trump is.
yeah, they are memes, and they're less accessible memes. They're worse memes. Trump is obviously a huge market cap already. I still think I would like to buy a lot of it if we do get another dip back into the 20s, because I think like the upside there is actually still quite good. I mean, at that point, you will have maybe put in like a double bottom and kind of de-risked. A lot of these people, saw so many people blowing out their account, like leverage longing this thing and getting absolutely nuked, which is just so standard. So I'm still kind of waiting for that just to settle, but it is something I do want to be long. It's just like the most obvious left curve trade of all time, and I probably should buy a little bit here more than I currently have. Yeah, I've been thinking about just selling all of my agents that I have left. Honestly, I still got some bags, and just like the one thing. This is a slight tangent, but one part of my portfolio that gives me anxiety right now is that it is like just spread across too many areas. Like I have brokerage accounts and trading accounts and on chain on Ethereum and this and that, and it's just when you have all your money in one place, it's really easy to assess like your risk and to measure like exactly what you're in and to hedge and to kind of move quickly. And when you're scattered in like all of these different areas, like do dumb shit. And that this is like what naturally happens to me and like everybody, I think, at the end of these cycles is that everything starts pumping, right? And then what you want to do is like long everything. You're like, oh God, I got to long this and I got to long that and I got to long this and I got to long that. And before you know it, you're in 35 positions. And then when the time comes to like get out or unwind stuff, you're not nimble versus somebody who's just like, I'm just gonna just go all in Solana, and it's close enough to approximate all of the stupidity of this cycle, right? And then when you want to get out or hedge, it's very simple to do so. And I think being that we're sort of approaching the end times, at least in the near term, I think there's a good case for kind of concentrating and being nimble.
Do you think another thought I had was like when a bunch of normies come into meme coin space, a lot are going to be wrecked, you know, particularly the latecomers are just going to get wrecked. Do you think that sows the seeds for future Bitcoiners, or does that like sow the seeds for people to want to avoid crypto entirely?
Oh, I don't know. Both. Probably mostly people who want to avoid.
Maybe.
But like people will just keep coming back as long as they can make money. People have been getting wrecked by gambling for centuries and
Right.
people keep gambling. So crypto's a little more painful because you don't wrap your identity around like the NCAA football game you just bet on. But like people do get wrapped up in this stuff, and when it doesn't pan out, like there is like a deeper hurt than just losing your money because you've lost like a belief system on top of it. And that's where a lot of the disillusionment comes from, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do
Yeah.
think that like, Bitcoin in my mind now is cemented as like a up to infinity.
Yeah, it's just such an easy trade. You just hold it.
Just hold it.
Just hold it. You're not that good at trading. Like if you're listening to this, like just statistically speaking, like you are probably not that good because nobody is, almost literally nobody.
Right. And even when you like make good trades, like I've made good trades, like we've been doing this pod. We took like a 9-month break, but even since we started, you know, we've made some really good calls that are up a lot, but like you only do that with a portion of your portfolio. Like if you can just like fully allocate your portfolio to Bitcoin and hold it over like 2 decades or more, like I wonder if any trader just beats that.
There was an interesting conversation on crypto Twitter today, prompted by a tweet from Ansem. I don't want to dunk on Ansem too much because I actually think he's just like engagement farming. I also don't think he's like that great of a trader, to be honest, but I also don't think he's like dumb. So I think he's farming. But like he made some tweet where it's basically like Bitcoin is up X off the lows. Like if you're not outperforming this in your trading account, you should like reconsider everything that you're doing. And then Horse, who's like another kind of old school crypto guy, responded and was basically like, look, I'm in a group chat with like some of the best traders you've ever seen, huge accounts. Virtually none of them are outperforming Bitcoin. And the reason is because if you are actually like a professional money manager, you are primarily concerned with drawdown and the amount of risk you're taking on to get the gains, right? So it makes complete sense that you wouldn't outperform Bitcoin if you're trading, because part of trading isn't just the gains. It's like, did you avoid your portfolio going down 90%? Because that's really fucking hard to come back from. So because all these guys like are probably really, really good, they probably very much prioritize risk management. If you prioritize risk management, it's very hard to like outpace Bitcoin from like the return perspective, right? But what people don't see is like, well, what was your drawdown? What was your drawdown? Like if somebody returned, 50% of Bitcoin, but they never had a drawdown of more than like 20% or something in their portfolio, that might be like a very, very good outcome. And that's why it's also like hard to be managing money for people in this space, because like it's very difficult for people to look at like your max drawdown versus like how much did you make this quarter versus everything else, or how much did you lose this quarter. And I think that was like an important point that's like lost on a lot of people because nobody in the comments seemed to get what the horse guy was saying. But he's right in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely like a portfolio drag on risk management practices, like hedges cost money and all that kind of drags down on your performance, particularly in a bull market.
Yeah. But I want to bring this back around to the Trump coin because I think there's a couple other threads to pull on this before we move on. So we talked about what impact this is going to have on the space. We said it's probably going to pull a bunch of normies in, right? That is probably going to pull those people into normie friendly platforms. I don't know how many people come on chain. And then we said, like, okay, second order effect of this is probably that these people also bid other meme coins because who wants to buy just one meme coin, right? They're like, well, what else is going to go up? What else is going to go up? Yeah. So we talked about how maybe reallocating to these sort of like OG kind of memes that are on these platforms or that may get on the platform. Like I think Whiff, for example, is not on Robinhood yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be like an interesting catalyst. And like you were saying, like people just aren't that smart. Not in like a I'm trying to belittle people kind of way, but they don't even understand Bitcoin, right? They don't fucking understand what like an AI agent launchpad on Base is, right? Excuse me. So it's just like expecting these people to bid these things. I don't know. It just seems weird. They may just bid the cheap meme coins, right? And that ends up being like a trade. But what are some other kind of effects of this? Well, in the spirit of the thought that okay, so Trump has basically drawn a regulatory safety net around token launches in general, right? He's done it very specifically in the sort of personal influencer meme coin bucket, right? So the safest bet is that there's going to be a lot more launches of like personal brand meme coins.
Yeah, that bucket is set to expand dramatically.
So you have two options, I think, to play this if you think this is true. One is I guess you live in the trenches. Maybe you make a spreadsheet of all the people who could launch these things and figure out some way to monitor the chain for alerts or join like a group where people are watching this shit 24/7. I don't know, right? I'm not going to do that. The second order play is that, okay, like if you have Trump V2, V3, V4, and Jake Paul coin and all these other people just launching shit, right? These things have to trade somewhere. And so the trading infrastructure on Solana is what ends up getting bid up because if you have just crazy volumes going through the roof, all of this stuff, for example, runs through Radium, right? And
Jupiter.
then Radium becomes like the play.
That's a good call. Imagine too if like it becomes legal for Radium to distribute some of that value back to token holders as well. This could really
probably bearish.
Oh yeah, utility bearish.
Yeah, let's not do that. But yeah, I mean the Radium chart. I mean, I woke up and longed this coin yesterday, and it's doing quite well. Fortunately, this shared this in the Magic Lines Discord. But the Radium chart, I mean, this is a good looking chart.
It does look nice.
Looks pretty nice on the weekly when you zoom out, right? Looks bullish. But I think the other question is, do you want to hold Radium or do you want to hold Sol? So I think we can probably just manually calculate this. Radium divided by Sol. Yeah, so there's your Radium Sol chart.
Damn, crushing.
Yeah, so this is looking bullish versus Sol. So this is one play, Radium, strong coin, catch momentum, bid it and ride it. Always one option. The other option, as you alluded to, is Jupiter. And Jupiter is interesting because it's the aggregation layer. That's what everybody mostly interacts with. Jupiter has a very different chart in that Jupiter is basically this is an 80-day sideways accumulation range. So
Damn.
You could just position here and be patient and think you're going to get a breakout. The downside risk, obviously, is that you just you invested in Chainlink and you're still at this price in 2030. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't think so. I think when stuff really, really runs, immediately people start going looking for beta. Everything takes turns pumping, and then right, you know the game. So this could be like an interesting way to position ahead of time. So you get the sit and wait trade with Jupe, and then you've got the breakout momentum trade with Radium. But hard to see how these things don't continue turbo pumping. I guess if we just keep seeing a wave of crime coins launching.
Yeah, I was thinking that you were going to say just buy Sol, but these trading platforms make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, Soul, I'm sure does well, but it's a less direct exposure, I think. I don't know. You may say it's like just as direct, but like the Trump coin has a huge pool in like USDC, right? So maybe people just like if somebody just buys Trump with USDC and cashes out, all that volume flows through Radium, but it doesn't necessarily translate into more people like holding Soul. Like it certainly does, like on net, but not necessarily. I mean, the it's just kind of a bad candle close for Soul on the weekly. Kind of swept and failed to close, and then we just had such a fucking ugly daily candle there on Sunday after the Trump the launch of the Melania token, which is just I was when Trump coin launched, like there was a point in time where I took a step back and was like, oh, something like really interesting could be done here. Maybe they can do this in a way that sets a precedent for how to manage these things, and like we could turn this into just one of the most valuable assets on Earth. Like they were like 15th most valuable person on Earth on paper. But it wasn't good enough. Like we had to just grift immediately. And
Do
so I was
another
like,
one.
all right, no, these people are fucking losers. So of course they're just gonna do that. So I don't know if any of that comes to pass. But yeah, it's not the ideal thing you want to see when you're longing something. There's a bunch of people trapped up here now who longed to break out and got stuck there. Like I said, I'm sure Soul still does well, but short term setup I think just looks better for stuff like stuff like.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are in agreement that like the trading platforms are the way to go. Like I'm more in the TradFi realm, Coinbase, Robinhood, and it sounds like you're into the crypto version of that, essentially.
Hmm. Yeah. Let's talk about one more kind of in the news thing. There's been a real kind of like sentiment capitulation in recent days around Ethereum. You've seen a lot of guys just like basically throwing in the towel.
I saw Eric.eth abandoned his dot.
Yes. So there's all these people abandoning the .eth. Eric Connor, probably the most notable one who's done it so far. But like, yeah, there's just been all this backlash against the drama at the Ethereum Foundation. I mean, we had the post by Vitalik last week, talking about explicit non-goals to pivot to a Bronze Age mindset and lose the soy boy thing. And people were like, "Wait, no, we want Bronze Age mindset." And then people are very upset with current Ethereum Foundation leadership. I mean, because they just keep saying ridiculous shit. Like people are like, "You guys don't even use the chain," and then somebody was like, "We use the chain all the time to sell this ETH for stables," and then people were like, "Are you trolling?"
Yeah, you
What?
literally just dump. That's what you use the chain for, to dump ETH.
My God, yeah, and like, yeah, you've got this juxtaposition between like Solana, just like win at all costs, like no matter the crime, and then just ETH, complete. I guess you would call it soy boy mentality if you're on the internet and you're deep online.
Yeah, and I saw there was like an interview with what is she, the head of the EF, Aya?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, yeah, we want to get away from a winner mentality. We don't, we. I'm like, why? No, I'm noticing that like there's like a global trend happening, starting with the United States, where we're like getting away from regulatory framework, less regulation, moving a little further to the right, less DEI shit, and it just seems like ETH is fully committed to like a DEI type mindset, which I don't love. But then part of me also thinks like maybe this is kind of like the moment where it's bottomed. You know, you get like people capitulating like Eric.eth, and it's like maybe that's the bottom signal.
Yeah, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, so we saw more people sell ETH to buy Trump this weekend, but like who else is like, can anybody else sell this coin at this point? Like, are there any more sellers out there? Like, who has not yet capitulated at this point?
Right.
That after the Ethereum Foundation telling you that they just use the chain to sell ETH, like
That's so bad.
Like, how is that not the absolute sentiment bottom? Yeah, the .eth changing, I feel like is like the equivalent of the laser eyes coming off, which was like a pretty good bottom indicator.
That is laser eyes coming off. You know, at the same time, I'm seeing that World Liberty Financial, Donald Trump's investment company, is like buying a shitload of ETH all the time. They bought $47 million worth of ETH to represent the 47th.
I didn't even catch that actually. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. The president is buying massive amounts of ETH and has launched his fucking dumbass crime DeFi app on ETH. It's kind of interesting. Like, he chose to launch the token on Sol, right? But the bear case for the token is that it's wildly value extractive in a way, because I think they've already sold like close to $1 billion of profits on that.
Well, that's good. You got to get your money.
Yeah, and they sort of turned those profits around and rolled it into buying ETH.
That's fucking crazy.
And they're staking ETH, right? So we couple this with like ETH BTC, like finally trading in like the middle of my do or die zone. It's basically like you long ETH here, or you just delete this thing from your watch list and never look at it again.
Damn. So how long ago did you draw this?
God, like early last year, probably.
And we've reached this point, the bottom.
We have reached the mid-range of the demilitarized zone. Between this zone, the price in this zone is just a black hole of bottomless pain. So I'm the longest I've been ETH right now in a very long time.
I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer on Ethereum. I can't really identify what's going to make people want to use this chain, like in actuality, but I see catalysts for price.
People are using the chain. Like the TVL is up only, the blob space activity is up only, their blobs are getting full, right? There are all these questions about like what to do about fragmentation and all these other issues, and long-term value capture for the Ethereum token, which I do think is like a bit of a problem, right? But like all I'm looking at right now is like, can I identify and time like a massive fucking mean reversion?
Yeah. And I think like two reasons for me to still remain optimistic is Coinbase's involvement with ETH, you know, via the base chain, and TradFi. Like ETF is already approved, launched. Maybe we see like a staked ETH ETF, which would appeal to
yeah, I mean, when the president is holding Lido staked ETH, right? You got to feel good about that. And by the way, a better play in all of this, like if this thesis is true, is to probably just buy Lido.
Yeah,
if you want to buy spot, I'm like leverage trading this, and I like the risk defined nature of the ETH trade. So that's kind of why I'm in it, because as you say, even if the price doesn't move a lot, I can still size it up to the point where I care.
Yeah. So when you make a trade like this based on your drawing, like the demilitarized zone that you've outlined here, would you like, is your style to basically like cut the trade if we break through the bottom of this zone? Because then you're kind of like, your idea is invalidated. Is that how you would?
Yeah, my idea lies more on the ETH USD chart.
Okay.
But I was telling everybody in the Discord this week to bid the weekly open around 3,200 or so if you want to jump off this cliff with me, because there's a decent chance in my mind that this ends up being the lowest weekly open you see for ETH in a while. And I really hope that pans out, because the alternative is probably that the people drawing the Wyckoff chart on Bitcoin were right, and that actually we already did top, and
Oof.
it's just over, and that was the peak for ETH for a while, which
Could
is
be.
not a reality.
No. But I think it's reasonable to ask those questions. Did we see the top?
For sure. And to be clear, like I'm not taking this trade very far. Like, I'm gonna probably take it to like 4,100. That's all I have faith in. That's all I have faith in, man. That's all I stomach. I mean, I'll leave a runner. When this breaks out, it's going to be such a massive breakout because you've just got like the mega triangle, Mega triangle, multi-year mega triangle. It's probably going to happen at some point. The problem is that these things take a long time to play out, and you can definitely have a situation where we run 4,100 and then dump again, right? You could have price do that,
Oof.
right? Which would
Oof.
be painful. The real max pain is that, if Bitcoin tops, like we're going here to, $1,700 land probably. So this is probably like an insane opportunity if this happens, right? We just take out all of this and everybody's just like, fuck you. But then like it just like absolutely turbos, right? So
Dude, I wouldn't sell my ETH even if we went down to this level. I think like if Ripple can come back after a 7-year hibernation, then this can come back.
yeah, anything's possible. It's just like, what time frame are you trading on? What is your time preference? What is your risk preference? What is your opportunity cost of doing other things? There's not like a lot of like overtly right or wrong answers. It's just like, what are you optimizing for? And if you are like a derivatives trader, it's like an interesting setup, because if you can, lever it, you can frame like a nice risk reward out of the trade right here. And if you're the guy who's like trying to buy coins to make like a 20x, then like, I don't know why you own this. Go buy something else. This ain't it, chief.
I really wish there was an options chain for like the ETH ETF, like ETH A or whatever, BlackRock's version. That would be so
I
nice.
mean, soon, and it's maybe one of these catalysts.
Yeah,
like we still haven't seen like a period of sustained inflows into ETH ETFs, and we still haven't seen options, obviously. We still haven't seen any other ETFs launch for like ETH native apps and stuff. Like it's not hard to squint and see like a pretty good like Ethereum bull run on the horizon somewhere. Yeah, I'm not like that down in the dumps. And like I said, I kind of get the sentiment bottom vibes with the .eth deletion. That to me was like oh, okay. All right. Well, let's move into the trades portion of the pod. A quick update, because we talked about some trades last week. I talked about Uniswap, and I think the Uni trade is still fine. No change to it. Still, like a lot of Ethereum kind of regulatory tokens look like this. Like if you pull up a curve chart, a Uni chart, an Athena chart, they're all kind of like move up, consolidating above some sort of range high. And then the hope, obviously, is that that range high is support. And then we go up, and not that we accept back inside the range and then go all the way back down again. But yeah, I'm still looking for $20 on this Uni trade. That's
so you're
the
saying
safe target.
This might be like a pretty reasonable entry here. Still,
Yeah, I think it's fine.
what are the ones? What are the DeFi tokens that Trump's buying? I saw he bought Athena. Do you know what?
He bought Athena, Aave. So the best looking token, I will say, out of all of them is Aave. I mean, this thing looks So good. Just amazing. Like we've just come out of this multi-year consolidation, big moves. It's bullish on the Bitcoin chart, it's bullish on the ETH chart, it's bullish against every other DeFi.
God, I like this because it's actually one of the best protocols in all of crypto as well. It's just like
Yeah,
so valuable.
it's great. It's great. We've got that kind of DeFi regulatory portfolio. You've got like the good regulatory portfolio, and then you've got like the crime regulatory portfolio. So you've got this, but then you've also got like your Ripple, your XLM, your hash graphs, like all these things. Unfortunately, those tokens will probably pump harder.
Yeah, they're winning.
Feel more comfortable holding these for extended periods of time. Like there is a world where we look back on this trade 10 years from now, we're like, holy shit, Aves, $60,000.
Yeah, I could see it.
Who knows? A guy can dream. But yeah, let's talk about what's on your mind here. You've got some. I think you've got a trade idea you wanna share.
Yeah,
This is
so
a options trade on Hood. Sounds like you're doing something kind of sexy.
well, yeah. I mean, looking back to last week, I talked about Coin, an options trade that was like taking a bullish stance, and that
Hmm.
Coin trade, I mean, Coin's up. So that trade was levered and it's up like 300% over the last week. This Hood trade is kind of the inverse. So you and I talked about Hood at the beginnings of Irresponsibly Long.
Brother, why didn't I just full port this thing at like $8 when we started talking
Dude,
about
we
it,
were
or
talking
ten
about it in
dollars?
single
Like,
digits. Yeah. And I've held it since. I haven't sold any until Friday when I was a forced seller because of that candle on Friday. I was selling covered calls. I've been selling covered calls throughout. I mean, on everything that I hold, I sell covered calls.
mm,
But that last candle took me out at $45. So I wanted to,
what happened? Was there a little news event?
no, not particular. I think it's just all correlated, like beta to,
Yeah, I mean that's a heck of a weekly looking chart there. I know we were sort of postulating about whether Robinhood would just be like sort of it's like a TradFi meme exposure trade basically
yeah.
because they're going to kind of be the TradFi meme hub, and man, that is it's worked out very well.
So some news actually came out today in like the TradFi trading land. Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab reported earnings today, and they both dominated their expectations. They beat by like 40% on revenue and earnings. So I think Robinhood is like set to move higher based on that alone. And like Schwab doesn't even sell. You can't buy crypto there, and crypto has higher margin for these brokerage firms. So I think Hood's going to be good. I got a chunk of my shares taken out at 45. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the wheel. And guys in Naked and Afraid are familiar with this strategy. It's like when you sell covered calls and you get taken out the following period, the following week or month or whatever, you sell puts. So I can sell puts at $45, and if the price goes below 45, then I'll get my shares back, and I'm earning premium on both sides. So that's probably how I'm going to do it. I still like Hood. I got some shares taken away, but I'll sell out of the money puts, and if the price goes down, then I'll get my shares back. If not, still earn premium, and I still have like a huge portion of my bag left. So I still like Hood.
All right, cool. So could you kind of go into specific detail of how somebody would like structure this from here?
Yeah. So, well, like right now, this trade works for somebody who got their covered calls taken
So
away.
it is pretty specific to having your calls taken away.
But if you like wanted Hood now, you could sort of run like the back half of the trade. Say you just have cash on the sidelines, you could sell puts at $45 to earn premium, and that would be a way to scoop up new shares on a dip. because right now it's at $50. So you sell 45 strikes, you collect the premium, and then if the shares go below, then you're like a forced buyer at 45, cheaper than buying it at spot price, $50.
Gotcha.
So I do that a lot. I do that a lot. Like if I want to acquire shares, instead of buying just like the spot price, I'll just sell a put, and that way I'm making some income, basically getting paid to set a limit order.
That's the power of passive income.
Yeah, it's not that passive, but it is income.
Yeah, you and I definitely approach the markets differently. I'm more of a log wealther. Just gonna buy the thing, have it go up.
Wow.
Different strokes,
Yeah,
for different folks. Okay, I like it. We've been talking about a lot of crypto stuff, so I figured I would pull out a TardFi idea, see what you think about it. So,
okay.
I like going long Baba.
Alibaba,
Ali frickin' Baba. There it is.
the Amazon of the Far East.
The Amazon of the Far East. I love that.
Look at this chart, man.
Like
Oh
this
gosh.
is the Burj Khalifa status. We love the.
It
we
looks
love
like
the,
a Patagonia logo.
The dev full stack Hitler the chart. Just absolutely sold everything. Yeah, this thing has been turbo nuking. Worth noting that let's look at where Trump was last inaugurated. That was here. So in that time, we ripped up solid 89% pretty quickly there.
Yeah,
until COVID basically derailed us. I guess we were first derailed by the taper tantrum, maybe, but that was a nice little move. Anyway, obviously Chinese tech has just been, well, maybe that's not obvious to people, but Chinese tech has been sold into the fucking ground. I'm told that the multiples on these things are quite low now.
Yeah, single digit earnings multiples in this environment is hard to find unless you look at Chinese tech.
So from my non-line drawing perspective, it seems like when I look at Trump, although he, carries a big stick and speaks very belligerently, if you will, in actuality, he seems to be a bit of a peacemaker. He likes to cut deals. He likes to cut deals with guys that we don't even like sometimes, right? It kind of makes sense that he might look for a win-win. You thrive, China, we thrive, everybody's happy, I'm awesome, everybody loves me, you love me. And when I look at this from a technical perspective, I mean, we are basically trading in just the absolute stone cold basement of the entire move up of this stock. This is sort of like the lifetime low original accumulation range of Alibaba. And then we've got basically an inverted head and shoulders here, right? With a rounded bottom. You could say this is maybe like a Adam and Eve, where you get the spike and then the rounded bottom. So a lot of
nice, interesting
lines can be drawn there. And then I think we had a market structure shift, this big candle in September, perhaps in anticipation of this. But traders are going to trade. Sometimes we end up selling back off. People take their profits. You go back down to the area where that demand originated from. And I think we might be there at this point. You can see, we basically have this monthly order block here at $80 or so. And we tapped it. We tapped into it. So I think it's a good time to scale in. It's probably buy half your position level at this point, at least. I mean, this is a monthly chart, so who knows how long this takes to play out. But you have the 2022 yearly high here at 138, which I think is a conservative target. But even this conservative target, if you were to just market buy here and put your stop below the all-time low, it's a nice risk reward. It's 2 to 1. 2 to 1 on your money.
Yeah, I agree with you. So this is a name I've followed for a long time. I actually am I have like a little bit of bag holding, um, back from years ago. A couple things happened uh, that I think can like act as positive catalysts eventually. But that huge run up and then subsequent fall in 2020, that was associated with Ant Financial. Are you familiar with this?
I am not familiar with this. Would you enlighten me?
So Ant Financial was Alibaba's like banking arm, and they have like I think it's called Alipay, which is like their kind of like PayPal or Venmo, and they were going to IPO this Ant Financial Group, and that was valued at the time at like $300 billion, and the Chinese government struck down the IPO. And then that's when Jack Ma spoke out about that, and then he had to go into hiding for a few years.
That's what that was related to.
Yeah, and right now, the entire market cap of Alibaba is like $200 billion. So they still own Ant Financial, and there's been some chatter that they might look to IPO again, maybe in like a more favorable environment where the government allows it to go through. So that would be like a massive value unlock. This is like it's like a value stock darling, because I think a lot of value investors look for opportunities like this where you have like massive upside, little downside. Like Michael Burry, I think like 20% of his fund is in Alibaba. And he's like just like a quintessential value investor.
He's got 20% in Alibaba.
Yeah.
What's his cost basis?
I'm not sure. You know, his
Hopefully
like
not
his
230.
13F filings, they show like also like put hedges and stuff. So I don't think he's just like wearing the drawdown all the way. But
I see.
but I think the fundamentals align with your candles on this one.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty interested in this.
All right, so you're into the idea.
Yeah, I guess my fear is that, like, you know, what we talked about with ETH also applies. I think it's like when you have a leadership regime that is not really pushing forward the value of your asset, like Chinese government is what caused this thing to bleed down so much. Like that same government still in power. So I don't know. I do think there's like value in the company, but is the government going to allow that value to be unleashed? We'll see.
Thus the risk. And
Yeah.
without the risk, there is no reward. There can be no reward. Such is the nature. But you know, we like placing these risky bets. We do. If you want to juice this trade, you could always juice it with some options. What might you do for an options trade here?
Yeah, that's a good call. Actually, I wasn't even thinking that direction, but I think the way that I would perceive an options trade here is probably like lower dollar allocation by buying like an out of the money leap call. And that would give you much higher returns percentage wise. So like lower risk, higher return it's like one way to frame it. So just buy like an out of the money call. If you think that $138 is like conservative, I agree. So I was looking at the cash flow statement just before we started recording, and the cash flow yield on this is about 7%, which is like 2 times the market cash flow yield. So I think you can like easily get 50% upside here. I would buy leap call 50% out of the money and play it that way.
I love it. I love it. I've become more of a deep in the money guy
Yeah.
because you know, I'm usually trading direction. I usually want delta, and although it's not as sexy, you're not getting like 100x your investment.
Right.
It's like a simpler trade to manage, and it's just like capital efficiency in the account. You know, you could trade $100,000 of stock with 30K or something instead of 100,000, you know, depending on what it is you're trading. Get a little more bang for your buck in your trading account. So that's what I've been leaning to lately. And if I do take this trade, my my margin limits are still a little pushed until
Good for you.
MicroStrategy and Coin give me a little more juice. But if I have something freed up, that's going to be one of the first things I end up looking at. But I thought other people might like the trade. I thought you might like the trade.
Yeah,
So
I like that. I would
definitely
go.
worth sharing the setup.
I'd go like long dated maturity because I think this thing can just keep going sideways for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid.
Right.
I think another angle to that trade is like, what about Trump's tariff policy? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it impacts Alibaba that much because they're not really selling much to the U.S.
Yeah, this is where I'm getting out of my lane, so I won't.
There's another company that you should look at if you want to diversify a little bit. It's like the same trade. PDD, Pinduoduo, is like their competitor, their biggest competitor, and I think the charts probably look similar. I'd actually like your opinion on that. If the chart looks similar, they're growing at a faster rate than Alibaba.
Is that PDD?
Yeah, PDD, Pinduoduo.
Pinduoduo. Sounded racist.
But it's like trading with the same multiples, beaten down.
One chart request here. This is not anywhere near as beaten down as Alibaba.
Well, it's like out competing Alibaba, but the multiples are like the same earnings yield, cash flow yield is cheap.
Yeah, my eye is drawn to like 83, 84.
Okay,
could be
nice,
an interesting spot to bid.
But I like both. If you like that type of trade, I like both.
All right, cool. Well, if people want to check that out, the ticker is ETH. No, I'm just kidding. The ticker is PTD. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap that right here at an hour. Quick reminder for people, if you enjoy my lines, if you want to see more lines, you want more trade ideas, not enough trade ideas for you, you want trade ideas multiple times a week, you want to hear me pontificating about the market, you want to get some trading education, then please check out the Magic Lines Discord. Eric, we have 107 people in there now.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. What an opener. So yeah, we just a launch beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you to everybody who signed up. I am still making the product better. I am listening to all of your feedback, and I am working to deliver something that gives everybody value, not just the traders, the passive investors, the just sort of sideline enthusiasts who like to partake in the exchange of ideas and whatnot. But yeah, you get trade ideas from me. You get access to a pretty cool community. So if you want to check this out, go to Magic Lines XYZ /IL. And we are doing, I think next Friday, I'm going to close off the early bird. So we've been discounting 75 a month lifetime or 800 a year lifetime to just really seed this community with like some really, really good people. And I think that, I'm going to, have an aneurysm.
Wait, hold on. So let me get this straight. If somebody signs up before next Friday or this Friday, then they lock in that price forever?
Yes.
Well,
unless inflation gets really, 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 really high and
shit, man,
I have to increase prices across the board. But for the most part, yes, effectively, it's a nice lifetime discount for you. Yeah, it's a great community. So would love you guys to check it out. The coupon code for the early bird is IL75 for the monthly and IL800 for the annual. So let's pump these numbers up. I got some other groups I'm trying to flip in, and we're close to getting there.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Well, Eric, that was fun. That was a much smoother episode than last time.
Yeah, man. Great job managing the ones and twos. Great job.
Thank you. That was a fun discussion. Touched on a lot of stuff there. I learned something. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully the listeners learned something. Ziggy did not learn anything. Hi, buddy. How are you doing? Thanks for listening, everybody. I will, try try to get the episode up on Spotify this week. No promises. I am a bit of an airhead. So for now, please subscribe to the YouTube. If you are not already subscribed to the Irresponsibly Long YouTube, be sure to give the episode a thumbs up. Give it a share with somebody who you think might benefit from this, or who might enjoy listening to us ramble about our journey in these volatile financial markets. That's enough for today. We got to go get ready for the Alfalfa Pod.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I didn't even
Life of a
remember that.
content creator. I know, it just never ends, man. But I had a great time, buddy. I'm going to log off for now. I will see you same place next week.
All right, bud. See you.
Bye. And we are done.